In this video, we are going to talk about the next Nintendo console, what I want to see done to it, and what I think it needs to do for Nintendo to have another successful console and not have another Nintendo Wii U situation. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and what you want to see in the Nintendo Switch Pro. And if you want to help me reach my goal of 1,000 followers on Twitter, you can follow me at RoboRob93. So Nintendo is doing fantastic with the Nintendo Switch. We have massive games like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, not Forbidden Forest. I don't know why I used to say that. It was really weird. But we also have Breath of the Wild 1, which admittedly was a port from the Wii U, but still fantastic. We also had Metroid Dread, Animal Crossing New Horizon, and even a fresh new Pokemon that, in my opinion, revitalized my personal view on Pokemon, Arceus. Now, I think something that's been on our minds as we get farther into the Nintendo Switch's lifespan is what's next? What is the next Nintendo console? How will Nintendo fix some of these resolution and frame rate problems in all of these games? Problems that, as we get further into the lifespan of the Nintendo Switch, are becoming more and more of a problem. For some games, I think some games do work and run and play fantastic on the Nintendo Switch, but I think some do need that Switch Pro update. I think a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro, of course, but I think this needs to be done right. We do not want a repeat of the Wii U. So first up, I think we need backwards compatibility. The Nintendo Switch install base is incredibly large and will potentially end up being the largest install base of any console, even beating out game systems like the PS2, which is insane. And it's kind of crazy that at the start of the Nintendo Switch, people thought it was gonna fail. Actually, no, not even at the start, when it was first revealed. So a ton of Nintendo Switch players are gonna want to keep playing their games on the next Nintendo console, especially if you bought a lot of Nintendo Switch games, which there are a lot of fantastic ones on this console, so I'm sure you guys have tons of Switch games. I mean, look over to your collection and imagine if you're not able to play that on the next Nintendo console. That would suck, right? So what better way to bring this than backwards compatibility? Now with Nvidia's tech, maybe we can have some sort of resolution and frame rate bump on these games as well. I'm not a huge tech person, but I think it would be pretty cool if we can get a next gen version of these games, or maybe even patches like the PS4 Pro and PS5 are getting. Now of course it wouldn't be next gen, but it would be a higher resolution and frame rate. And speaking of performance, I want this next Nintendo console to be able to run these games at an appealing level visually. But not just visually with the resolution and frame rate, but I do want to see less pop-in from games. I want to see better textures, I want to see bigger worlds, I want to see better games than the previous console. Now this also does come down to the power, but it also does come down to the devs as well. It depends on what game you're making. But when you're buying a new console, you're expecting bigger and better games than the previous system because there's more power. So that's something I do want to see with the next Nintendo console. I mean, games like Xenoblade 2, Age of Calamity, and even third-party games like Witcher 3 and the Doom games are acceptable to some extent though. I want to see a clear improvement over the original Nintendo Switch, and for that we're gonna have to have a more powerful system. It can't be like the Wii again where they just put a GameCube in another box. Again, I'm not a tech person, but that's essentially, from my understanding and what people were saying about it, is what they basically did. It was around the same power as a GameCube. And next up, I want to see the Switch format return. While I do like the idea of Nintendo making a machine that is hooked up to the TV and it's just like the PS5 and Xbox Series X and it's super powerful and there's just these crazy graphics, I honestly like being able to take these games anywhere, any place. In my opinion, this is what makes the Nintendo Switch so special, not the motion controls or the JoyCons, to be honest. I don't really care too much about the JoyCons, but its ability to play games on the TV or on the go. And if we can get a higher resolution and frame rate, or heck, even 4K docked, which I don't think that's gonna happen, but that would be a dream, then that would be fantastic for me. I don't know about you guys, tell me in the comment section below if you care about that stuff. And next up, I want this Joy-Con drift problem fixed completely. I don't want to see any problems on this. And to do that, we need improved Joy-Cons. Now, like I said, I don't really care too much about Joy-Cons. It is cool that you can detach the controllers and play with other people and stuff, but me personally, I don't really care too much about them. But I know there are people who do like them, and I know it is a huge problem with the Joy-Con drift. I mean, I personally have experienced it on multiple Joy-Cons. We need Joy-Cons that can last long and are just better, and honestly, another thing that could be cool is maybe even take after the PS5 controller with haptic feedback. The rumble is actually really cool in the PS5 and does help out with the gameplay and the feel of the game. I think the Nintendo Switch had the right idea, I just think the execution wasn't as good as it could have been. So an improvement on that would be really cool, and see what the devs could do, especially with Nintendo games, because they're really creative and you can do a lot of crazy things with that. And next up, I think motion controls can still find a spot on the next Nintendo console. I do like the motion controls, and some games like Ring Fit are really fantastic on the Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, one of my JoyCons is broken right now and I can't play it, but it is fantastic when I was playing it. We also have Nintendo Switch Sports and other games that use it too, so it would be fantastic if that can make a return. Maybe even make a new game series that revolves around motion controls that is really fun. Nintendo Switch Sports 2, I guess, or something. And next up doesn't have to do with the changes of the Switch itself, but the features on the Nintendo Switch. Voice chat, for one, is something that I could see easily added in, something that really needs to be on the Nintendo Switch right now, but if you're gonna wait till the next Nintendo console, at least have it on that. We need a party system like the PS5 and Xbox Series X. I really don't know why we don't have that yet. I always wanted to see Nintendo add trophies as well to the system too. This would add more replayability to Nintendo games and add a lot more things to do. It would also be great if we could have a simple way to add friends as well, and of course the good old messaging system. You know, just basic functions that should be on the Switch right now. Also, it would be nice to have themes as well. I mean, heck, even let us make our own themes like we used to do on the PS3 if you don't want to make them yourself, Nintendo. Just let us customize our screen in some way, shape, or form. And next up, keep the same memory type. I really like the memory type that they've been using since the 3DS and the Wii and the Nintendo Wii and so on. You can always find great deals on these memory cards for Nintendo Switches, or maybe even if you have one laying around, sometimes people do have those laying around. It's really fantastic. Also, we don't want a situation where we have another PS Vita. We don't want that to happen. Another thing I want them to change, and kinda doesn't have to do with the Switch itself, well, it kinda does. I want better special editions. I feel like Nintendo isn't nearly creative with their special editions anymore. I mean, the ones we have on the Nintendo Switch are okay, but nothing like the ones we got with the Game Boy Advance, the GBA, which is Game Boy Advance. I don't know why I said that, but heck, even the GameCube had some pretty awesome ones as well, and especially during the Nintendo 3DS era. Holy moly, there were some fantastic ones out there. I mean, look at these that I'm showing on screen right now compared to the Nintendo Switch. It's not even in its class. Nintendo, where did all your creativity with special editions go? Overall, I just hope the next Nintendo console will continue the philosophy of the Nintendo Switch. Play anywhere at any time. Playing these big Nintendo Switch games and third-party games on the go or on the TV is just fantastic, and I love it. And the last one would be marketing. Nintendo needs to market this right. That was one of the huge problems that Nintendo had when they went from the Wii to the Wii U. I mean, till this day, some people, only a couple probably, but some people still don't know what the Wii U is. Some people still think it's an add-on for the Wii, and I'm not kidding. So making a clear message that this is going to be a Switch Pro or a Switch 2 or the next Nintendo console, whatever they're going to be doing with it, they need to make it clear that this is something that you should buy into if you want to play the next Nintendo game. So yeah, tell me what you guys want in the next Nintendo console. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.